Hi guys, welcome back. This is episode 2 of my Fit Mum, Fit Model journey. If you watched the first episode, you'll know that I'm on my journey into the Fit Model category. It's a brand new bodybuilding category for this year, and I'm very much learning a lot about it at the same time as the bodybuilding pros are. So I am pulling knowledge left, right and centre from people that I can. I'm getting coached and supported and learning a lot. And I wanted to share my experience. I've talked about it before, about having underactive thyroid, PCOS, PMDD. I'm also a busy mum with 2 jobs, 2 children. So I just want to share that journey with everyone. And today's video is going to be how I fit it all in as a working mum, diving into my training, diving into my eating, just to give some inspiration and some motivation maybe to people who also have very busy lives or also struggle with PCOS, PMDD, to inspire them to chase their dreams, or if you're just interested in the fit model category and understanding the journey to it. So we're going to dive into that today, starting off with food. So if you know Fit Mum and my background story, so I have my own cookbook. I have a meal prep cookbook. So as a busy mum, I preach meal preps, okay? If you are not prepping your food, you are winging it. And when you're winging it, especially as a busy person, you are going to end up grabbing and going. Grab and goes. You're going to end up doing it because you're going to run out of time. You're going to get hungry. If you don't have your food in advance, it's the classic. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. So I absolutely preach, and I preach this with all my coaching clients as well. Meal prep is key to success. Nutrition is such a huge part of a fitness journey. Whether or not that's bodybuilding or whether or not you're trying to lose a few pounds, nutrition is absolutely key, absolutely key. Also as well for just health, hormone balance, all of that stuff, nutrition. You know, we can treat ourselves with food, we can prevent illnesses, we can prevent, you know, being unhealthy, we can ensure our hormones are balanced, we can help ourselves with nutrition. So nutrition, making sure your meal preps are set and ready, creating a schedule for the week of what you're eating. And then what I like to do is once a week go shopping. So before I go shopping, what I tend to do is I work out what I'm going to be eating for the week. So my coach has given me a meal plan. I will share that and show you what that looks like. But I understand nutrition quite well. Obviously, I am a coach. I'm not a bodybuilding coach, but I am a health and lifestyle coach for people, for fat loss, for health improvement, for muscle gain, but not to bodybuilding. So nutrition has been a big part of my life, learning it, understanding it in terms of my own conditions as well. And it's something I'm very, very passionate about, and I love to cook. Hence I have my own cookbook. If you'd like to buy it, I'll link it in the bio. But what it contains is real foods that people eat made healthier. I've literally actually today just put up on my Instagram a Nando's garlic bun chicken burger dupe. Okay, a dupe of the takeaway version or the restaurant version. I like to do lots of fakeaways because you can make this stuff at home. Really healthy, really tasty. You do not have to have all of these, you know, added preservatives, MSG, enhanced flavoring, seed oils. You can eliminate all of that and have a really tasty dish made with whole foods. So each day, as per my meal plan, I have my breakfast, which I do like to have the oats every day. I work that into my macros. I'm not a fan of the yogurt in the morning. For breakfast, with the exception here and there, probably for the past 7 years. Oats, me and overnight oats, it just works. I can make it up in advance. I can make 5 at a time. And I got a really good hack for this actually. I chuck all the ingredients in one big bowl. So say for instance, I need 35 grams of oats. I put in 175, I think that's right math off the top of my head, 175 grams of oats in for 5 portions. I chuck in my protein powder for 5 portions, which is 125 grams. And then I mix that with water in one big bowl. Because you know those tiny little dishes that you get, the meal prep dishes, you put them in there and it spills all over the side and it's an absolute pain in the ass. So we chuck it all in one big bowl, mix it up, and then I portion it out. I weigh it as one. I have the whole weight of the bowl, portion it out with 5 dishes, 5 overnight oats, and then I chuck in my berries, almond butter, and some dark chocolate as well. It's a really nice treat in the morning, give you a nice boost of energy. Obviously you've got your protein in there. It's very important to get that protein in first thing, especially for ladies, for hormones. So that has been my breakfast for the past 7 years. I then have a couple of, so I have 1 chicken dish, I have 1 beef dish, I have a sourdough and eggs sort of dish, and I have a yogurt bowl at the end of the night. So depending on my macros, I can play around with it. So each week I decide what my chicken dish is going to be and what my beef dish is going to be. I'm not eating it bland, I'm not eating it plain, I'm not eating it boring. I can't eat that way, and I will end up getting hangry and just absolutely chewing someone's head off. So I'm not doing bikini, I'm doing fit model. We are, you know, keeping a level of weight. We don't want it too lean anyway. So we're not going right down to, you know, right down to the bone, so to speak. We are keeping a healthy level of body fat. So I don't need to be super anal, like where we have to start worrying about, you know, seasonings and sweeteners and stuff like that, which is what I like. This is healthy. This is a healthy approach to fitness. You know, I'm going to keep a nice level of body fat on my body to make sure I am healthy. For fit model category, it just fits me, my hormones, and females. It fits females. Female bodies are not generally supposed to be that lean. Genetically, you will get some people out there who can be that lean and be healthy, but for the majority of people, it is not healthy. And this is my focus. It's always been about healthy. So last week I had marry me chicken with rice, and my beef dish for the last couple of weeks has been chili con carne. You know, food that everyone eats. My kids will eat the chili con carne with me. You know, they'll have it obviously with Doritos and stuff. Friday night I always swap it out for a steak. And luckily I like things plain. I like things quite plain. So for me with a steak, I'll have just a plain jacket potato and some veg. I can't have dairy. I'm dairy intolerant. Boo. Who it sucks, but I can have mozzarella because it's from buffalo, it's not from cows. So sometimes if I have got the fat available, I will add a bit of mozzarella cheese into my jacket potato. That will all melt nicely and I will eat that. So yeah, so what I tend to do is I go shopping. I will put up like a brief shopping list actually, so you can see what it is that I get each week. And then what I do when I come home, I don't put it away. I don't put individual food away, or unless, you know, they're individual items, like for the kids and stuff like that. When you get snacks and stuff like that, you've got to put all of that away. But the meal stuff, I do not put away. I get it home and I cook it straight away. That way you are not looking for space in your fridge. So I leave like the mince out, I leave the chicken out, I leave the tins out, like the coconut milk for the marry me chicken, or the tomatoes out for the chili, and the beans and the vegetables. I try and make my life easier as a fit mum by buying pre-chopped vegetables, like chopped onion, chopped peppers, chopped mushrooms. I don't always track my veg either. Greens, I don't believe in tracking your greens. Obviously things like avocados and high calorie vegetables you should be tracking, but ultimately I'm health focused, so you know there shouldn't be a limitation on vegetables. There's only so many you can eat, right? But you know, for me, in terms of lettuce, green beans, broccoli, you know, all of those green veggies, I do not track them. I will not weigh them, I will not track them. I need them for my health. We're eating them, we're not tracking them. So yeah, so I make all of my dishes up, and then I put them in the containers, let them cool down, put them in the fridge. Some people say to me, oh, I can't meal prep, I haven't got the room, I haven't got the space. No. I used to live in a 2-bedroom flat with 2 children, and I had like a fridge freezer, and I didn't have a lot of space. Didn't have a lot of space in my fridge freezer. So I made it work. So things that are wet, like chili con carne, you know them sandwich bags? So I will push them out into sandwich bags, take all the air out, knot them up, let them cool down, flatten them out, and they become like little flat piles of meal preps. If they're more of a solid dish, say for instance making like a shepherd's pie or a lasagna, say if I was doing like a meal prep for those, I would, or a fish pie, I haven't made one of those in ages. I would wait for them to cool down in the dish once I've made them, cut them into their portions and measure them out, and then I would put them in tin foil, flop it over. Again, that's not taking up much room. Okay, you can make it work, you can. You do not need to have everything in containers, you can wrap them up. And if you are worried about plastics and tin foil and stuff like that, you can use baking paper. There is other ways and means you can do this, BPA-free plastic, etc, etc. I wish the whole world would be plastic, BPA-free and all of that, but you know, we can do what we can do. So then I have my oats made, I make my chicken dish, I make my beef dish, it all goes away for the week. So we have it ready for the week. If it's over 3 days, I freeze it. If it's under, it goes in the fridge and gets eaten. I then just buy a couple of tubs of yogurt, that'll see me through, loads of frozen berries, depending on if it's like a rest day and I've got extra fats, I use seeds and nuts to help with my fats. And the other meal that I have is like sourdough, again, depending on if it's rest day or not. If it's rest day, I tend to put some avocado on there. If it's not, I don't. I have sourdough and eggs, and they tend to make up my 5 meals. And that's what I've sort of had for the duration so far. I am, how many weeks out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks out, and carbs are starting to drop on rest days. So I am going to be swapping out, like for instance, I've been having marry me chicken with rice and chili with rice. And for the last week, I have halved the rice to allow for the rice to be in there, but I'm losing the volume of food and I'm a hungry girl. I need to eat. So I've just bought massive bags of baby leaf salad. I'm literally gonna have a whole bag of baby leaf salad with my food to make sure that I am getting the volume to fill up my tummy. So yeah, I rinse and repeat each day. Eat the same thing each and every day. Like I said, mix it up with a steak on a Friday and just rinse and repeat. Occasionally, I might change my chicken dish out for a chicken wrap if I'm going somewhere that I can't access a microwave to heat it up. So chicken wrap, easy peasy, just wrap it up, tin foil, off you go. Bob's your uncle. And then each week, if I'm bored of that meal at the end of the week, then for the next shopping day, I will think about what I want to cook instead. Swap my chicken dish, swap my beef dish if I want to. Just check the macros, work it out, calculate it, create my shopping list, and go again with some new ideas just to keep me, you know, keep the taste buds going. Not so it's not just plain chicken and rice and plain beef and rice. You know, there's lots of different things that I've done, stir fries, like a fake away chicken chow mein actually. I've had that along the way as well. That's nice with rice noodles. But there's lots of different options, lots of different ways, and like my meal prep cookbook is all about whole food, so it fits perfectly. It's all about eating whole foods. It's got all the macros in there, and it's just good general everyday food people like, food people love. So yeah, I'll link that in the bio if you are interested. Of course, on a normal day-to-day basis, I wouldn't eat like that. I would mix it up a little bit more. One thing I do actually that I forgot to mention is I mix up my beef. So my beef, 2 to 3 times a week, I'll have salmon instead. So to make sure I'm getting those omega-3s, essential fatty oils, I will have like a salmon fillet instead, and swap that out for the beef. But yeah, normally, obviously, I'd have a little bit more variety. But whilst I'm on prep and trying to keep things as simple as possible, being busy mum, you know, I will, you know, eat a little bit more repetitively. Although, like I said before, I will have the oats every day until I'm absolutely sick of them. And I've been eating them for 7 years and I'm still not sick of them. So oats will continue. On to training. So training wise, I train 4 days a week. 4 days a week. And so when I approached my coach, I have already been training for 7 years. 7 years for me in the way that I liked my body. So it was all about lower body, glutes, and getting a nice strong core. And then upper body was mainly focused on things that I wanted to achieve, like pull-ups and bench presses. So a few years back, I did some powerlifting, some strength training, had one of Wales' strongest men coach me to do powerlifting training. So really honed in on my compounds and perfected them. So my deadlifts, my squats, my bench presses, that was, you know, having those foundations of my training really helped me with understanding gym, exercise, and bodybuilding and how to work to failure, which is obviously super important if you want to build muscles. So going to my coach with a lot of muscle, we decided, obviously my physique was quite developed already. lacking in delts. So I do delts every training session. So I've got 4 training sessions, but they're sort of cool. So I'm doing delts and lower, glutes, posterior and upper. But basically I'm doing 3 glute days with delts and 1 upper day with delts. Because when I joined my coach, he has to study my physique. He has to learn my physique. He has to understand the category as well. He doesn't know the category. It's very new. It's all new to everybody. But obviously he's a bodybuilding coach, so he understands the physique, how to get the physique, how to match what the judges are looking for in terms of criteria, which, you know, is not something I do understand or know. So I am like, absolute sponge to you. You tell me what to do, I will do it. I don't need the discipline side of things. I am very disciplined. I have to be, because with my conditions, polycystic ovaries, PMDD, underactive thyroid, if I do not eat properly, if I do not train properly, if I do not sleep properly, if I do not work with my cycle and, you know, make everything work just so, with a little bit of flexibility, but if I don't make everything work just so, I feel like shit. Absolute shit. And people say to me all the time, oh, you don't have to be that rigid all the time. You don't have to be like, so, oh. Yeah, I do. And not because I want to be, you know, slim or skinny or, you know, perfect body shape. It's like how I feel. My conditions mean that if I don't eat properly, if I don't train properly in a way that supports my body, I feel like crap, and it is not worth it. It is not worth feeling like shit. So I can have my little treats and my tweaks and have a little bit of flex here and there. But if I do too much flex, I feel it a lot. Like, it affects me a lot. My fatigue, my energy levels, you know, my mental health. It just, I can't cope with it. I get puffy, I get water retention, I get, you know, so many conditions, like even things like down to, I can't even, like, I'll get hypoglycemia where I get sugar lows, I get, you know, my hair's bad, my nails are bad. It affects me so much that it is just not worth it. So for me, you know, I don't need the discipline side of things, but the training style that Cal, my coach, has put me on is designed to fit the fit model criteria. That's what he, you know, is a specialist in. And I'm so grateful for him. He's doing, you know, he's an amazing coach. And I'm very uncoachable because I know how I like to eat and train in terms of my body. And I'm normally very uncoachable, and I've struggled to be coached before, but he's brilliant. He sort of gives me that flexibility. He allows me to have that flex with my food, and I do my check-ins, and he's happy, and it's all good. It's all good. It's like support, but, you know, it's not micromanagement. And I like that. I like that. It suits me fine. So I was training glutes a lot before I joined with Cal, but the reason being is I've got a pancake butt and I need to train it a lot in order to get some size. And I was doing 3 days a week before, but obviously Cal needs to learn my body, understand it, and train my whole physique. So we dropped down the glutes a little bit, and I could feel them. I could feel them disappearing, and I was like, no, my glutes are going. We introduced the glutes back in, but delts, like I had no delts. Like, it was not something I ever concentrated on. It's not something I ever worked on. And I also had a shoulder injury from a while back. I used one of those tricep dip machines where you sit on and push them, and I overloaded it way too much, proper ego lifting, and I moved this bone up. Moved it up, and I'm seeing an amazing osteo who looks after me, and whenever I get any niggles, he sorts me out. But yeah, there's ongoing thing with my shoulder. So he gave me a lot of tips in terms of training with the shoulder to build my delts. And I have delts. I mean, they're baby delts, but I have delts. I've got little caps, and they're really cute, and I love them, and I'm very thankful for them. In terms of my training, like, everyone's going to be different. Everyone is going to be completely different in terms of how they train. And that's why, you know, having a coach is super, super important. Someone who understands bodybuilding and specializes in that sort of physique part of it, because, you know, they're looking at you as an individual. You can't really look at, it's very hard to look at yourself as well. Like, I look at myself, and, you know, even last week I had a wobble, and I was like, oh my God, like, I feel like I'm not lean enough. And he's like, you need to take your coach hat off, put your athlete hat on. And I loved that. And I was like, I'm going back in my box and being told what to do. So yes, yeah. So I leave it up to him. In terms of training, I'm also including core, a bit of core within the training, which I like. I love doing core work. Look, ADHD wise, I'm already thinking about what I want to do after Fit Model. I probably want to continue it. You know, if I place well, then it's worthwhile doing, right? We'll see what the judges' feedback is. But I'm also really interested in calisthenics and have been for quite a while and doing a few bits here and there. And like the core work for me, I just absolutely love it because you need good core strength for calisthenics. And one day I will get a handstand, one day. But we go off on a tangent. Yeah, and fitting this in with kids. It's actually Easter holidays at the moment. That's fun. I actually got my steps in yesterday walking around Westfield whilst my daughter damaged my bank account. But yeah, I've been training with my kids now since they were little. I was diagnosed with underactive thyroid when Molly was born, and then started doing HIIT classes. You know, eventually got to weights, which is where I needed to be. And I still do HIIT. HIIT's very good for thyroid. I'll talk specifically about those conditions in a different video, but do include that to help with my thyroid. But yes, they've been around me training for a long time, and they don't always play ball. They don't always play ball. They're kids. And, you know, sometimes for not great reasons, sometimes for amazing reasons because they want to join in. Mainly Paddy now. Molly's, you know, at the age now where no, I don't want to do that, which is understandable. I didn't either, you know, when I was younger. Actually, I used to skive off PE, could you believe it? But Paddy is loving it and loving training and has a little routine. So sometimes it gets interrupted because he wants to join in, and like, I'm all for that. You know, I want to show them the way, and, you know, health and fitness being normal. But, you know, also as well, you know, I get them to join in. I work with it, and I get them to, like, Molly sometimes will help me do the cooking sometimes. She enjoys that part of it. I also have the best thing I ever bought was a walking pad. So I will use that to get steps in, and it is just an absolute godsend because I do work 2 jobs. So sometimes being at the desk a lot, being at the desk in my day, like my day job, plus being at my desk a lot with my clients who I'm checking in, and having to be at my desk to do that, and, you know, doing social media stuff and website stuff and all the admin that goes in that no one ever sees. And I walk. And when, like, I work from home on a Wednesday, I can rack up 20,000 steps, more. So sometimes I do try to overachieve some days on steps. So if I do struggle on other days, then I have got some, you know, playroom, which is useful. So yeah, that's sort of my week. I mean, I'll hopefully find some behind the scenes videos. I'll add them up with this video. And maybe we'll dive a little bit more into specific exercises, specific nutrition parts of it in upcoming videos. Let me know what you want to know about the fit model category. I think it'd be interesting as well to discuss the look, who's winning. We've had some in England now. My coach went to one last week. So maybe we can look at the physiques. Versus my physique and where we're at in terms of 4 weeks out, in terms of my check-ins. We can go through a day in the life. What do you want to see? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to come back. I'm going to try and do weekly videos. Don't hold me to it though, because I'm a fit mum with 2 jobs and 2 kids. But I really do want to document this journey, because I think it will be really interesting for anyone joining a fit model. And I'll try and include as much information as I can to give you an insight into what I'm doing, and hopefully provide some support and inspiration. So if you haven't already, do click subscribe and hit the notifications button so you will know when I upload new videos. Like I said, hopefully it is weekly. And let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you want to know. Let me know if you've got any questions. Let me know if you're on the journey. It'll be nice to create a little community. I will also link up a fit model, or a couple of fit model pages that I'm following on Instagram, where I am creating a little bit of a community. I mean, they probably wouldn't say they're part of my community. Let's say I'm just following a few fit models and watching their journey, especially, you know, some of the winners and stuff like that, and following along on their Instagram. And, you know, there seems to be a little bit of a behind the scenes sort of community forming without them knowing who I am. But, you know, I'm following them, they're following me, and you know, it sort of, sort of starting, like let's say that's a little community. But if you want to join that community, follow me on Instagram as well, This Fit Mum. That's where my main platform is, main content is uploaded to there, also on TikTok. But yes, documenting everything on YouTube. So make sure you like the video, drop us a comment below, let us know what you want to see, let us know your thoughts, and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you for number 3.